Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. New rules have come into effect for hospitality venues tonight, with only vaccinated patrons allowed to stand up and drink. The public health order extending to workers in those venues from December 15.
Another sign on the walls of GRINNERS dive bar reminding patrons that standing up and drinking is only allowed for the fully vaccinated.
We put up what we put up and we tell them what we can tell them, but at the end of the day it's their decision to come into a venue or to not come into a venue, whether they're vaccinated or not.
There are some exceptions, including sporting clubs and stadiums, the onus on patrons to do the right thing.
We say that you must be vaccinated, but at the end of the day we need customers coming in here to survive, so let's just hope that everyone has got vaccinated.
Police and WorkSafe officers will be out in force with the powers to issue on-the-spot fines for anyone caught flouting the rules.
We work together in order to provide the support to the businesses and to make sure that businesses are aware of what their obligations are and are making sure that the controls are being implemented.
It's not just patrons needing proof of vaccination. From December 15, venue owners can also implement a no jab, no job policy so that everyone can enjoy a drink safely.
Replacing some staff members over summer will be the most difficult thing.
A small sacrifice to enjoy greater freedoms. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's hopes of hosting an Ashes clash have received a massive boost, with Cricket Australia confirming today the 5th Test will be moved from Perth. Reporter John Hunt joins us now. Now, John, what does this mean for our chances?
Well, Kim, it's certainly great news for Tassie cricket fans, with hosting rights now officially up for grabs. Western Australia's stringent border restrictions have cost it the chance to host a match. The Tasmanian government has been aggressively making its case for the final test to be moved to Blunston Arena, in the face of a push for a second day-night test in Melbourne. Reports emerged today a local bid may make up the difference in the net return between hosting at Blunston Arena and the MCG. The government is confident the outcome for the local economy will be worth the price.
The economy and hospitality, accommodation, the retail sector, it'll be a huge boost, not to mention the promotion of Tasmania.
If successful, it would be the first time England have played an Ashes match in the state. But Kim, before we can start celebrating, officials remain tight-lipped on the decision, with discussions underway.
And expect an announcement soon. Thanks very much, John. John Hunt there at Blunston Arena. Well, the man accused of breaching hotel quarantine, which led to a 3-day lockdown in southern Tasmania, has pleaded guilty to all charges. Tim Gunn from New South Wales had his travel application rejected twice before still attempting to enter the state.
He was sporting a black hood and re-entering hotel quarantine, just 24 hours out from escaping the Travel Lodge facility in October. Today, Tim Andrew Gunn pleaded guilty to a string of charges, including leaving quarantine without permission, making false claims to authorities and breaching a family violence order. After 2 rejected applications to enter Tasmania, the New South Wales man still proceeded with his travels, while lying to authorities that he'd spent the previous 14 days in Queensland. Upon conducting checks, the court heard a biosecurity officer noted Gunn appeared nervous, twitching and was visibly shaking. He was unable to provide proof of how he had arrived in Tasmania, then directed onto hotel quarantine. A bus driver overheard Gunn speaking with his girlfriend, informing her to meet him there. His breakaway was soon after. Police prosecutor Mark Miller said he claimed he had not come from a hotspot, and it caused the Director of Public Health to order a 3-day lockdown in southern Tasmania, while putting workers at risk. Mr Gunn told his defence lawyer he understands the frustration directed at him by Tasmanians and that it must have impacted their lives. He's now been remanded in custody and will appear again in December. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
An accused killer who led police on a 6-day manhunt after an alleged double stabbing has pleaded not guilty to a string of offences. Kerry Lee Whiting will face Launceston Supreme Court for trial at the end of January, charged with murder, attempted murder and aggravated burglary. The 44-year-old allegedly stabbed 2 people at a Ravenswood property on November 25. Crayfishermen are in for another challenging season. Border restrictions and export bans placing pressure on producers. But with freight flights starting up again to Hong Kong, Tasmanian seafood is still ending up on offshore plates.
Stephen Bradshaw switched to selling crayfish from his boat when China imposed its trade ban. More than a year later, he's still encountering choppy seas.
It costs us more to run the boat than what it costs to, by the time you go and get your fish. We got told we were going to get $45 when we left last trip and come back, and yeah, they couldn't even give us 40.
Weather conditions have also put a spanner in the works.
Our plan was to bring some in for Christmas, but yeah, 40 mil of rain the other night put justice to that, so we just haven't been able to come up here to sell them in the dock because of once we get sort of half up the river, it's just too fresh of water and just kill the crays.
Link Logistics spent the day preparing its seafood haul in Hobart, bound for Hong Kong tonight.
We've got live lobsters and we've got live abalone. We've got some chilled salmon on board today.
And while they are seeing more rock lobsters on board compared to last year,
there seems to be a bit of a struggle there with the rock lobster. We're seeing that come through our doors in respect of the council bookings. I suggest that could be market access into other areas.
Meanwhile, Tasmania's international exports have reached another record.
So an 18% increase to $4.2 billion exports for Tasmania.
The state's mining and minerals industry is particularly flourishing, making up more than 60% of overseas exports in the 12 months to October. Since GFG Alliance's takeover of the Temco smelter at Bell Bay in January, production has risen.
We've restarted furnace number 1. That's seen an increase of about 20% in our product,
resulting in dozens of job creations.
We've employed about 45 people in addition to the previous number, and we're actively recruiting about another 27, so that brings us up to nearly 300 people on site.
A positive turnaround after a rocky run. LETITIA Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians are set to be slapped with a water price hike, which will see bills rise by nearly $200 over 4 years. Taswater says the funds will be used to improve service, but Labor is crying foul over the government's handling of the provider.
For homeowners, bill shock can turn a trip to the letterbox into a nightmare.
It's always nice getting letters from, your nan and pop and people you haven't seen for ages, but when it's from Taswater or Telstra or anyone like that, you're just like, oh, bugger.
But water charges are on the up. Taswater hiking prices by 3.5% a year for the next 4 years. By then, the average household will be slapped with an annual bill $185 higher than what it is now, and have paid $453 extra in bills over that time.
I can think of many other things that I'd want to spend that money on other than just water.
We know that so many Tasmanian families are under pressure from cost of living. We know rents have skyrocketed. We know wages aren't increasing in line with increases in prices.
Labor will be lobbying the independent regulator to reject the price hikes, saying they're proof the Liberals' 2018 cash injection into the GBE hasn't paid dividends. The state government are pointing to price freezes in the previous 2 years and improved water quality as proof it has. Taswater say the extra funds from this raise will be used for servicing customers, improving standards and financing infrastructure upgrades. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A new campaign is warning Tasmanians to be alert when out on the water this summer or risk serious consequences. The push for greater safety awareness has been heightened following recent fatalities across the state.
It's no secret that conditions can quickly turn south when out on Tasmanian waters.
Even, on a nice day, things can change very, very quickly and you can be caught out. So it's just a matter of staying on top of it.
For this reason, a new safety campaign will be splashed across screens this summer and next Easter.
If you're the skipper, you're responsible. Is your safety gear handy? Do you know how to use it?
Highlighting the importance of running through the checklist before you get behind your vessel.
Obtain an up-to-date weather forecast, tell somebody where you're going and when you'll be back, but most of all, go boating to enjoy yourself and come home safely to your loved ones.
After a horror year on the water, Marine and Safety Tasmania believes the message has never been more important, with 6 Tasmanians losing their lives in the last 5 months.
It would seem that we need to just take a minute, take some time to stop and think and really decide whether it's worth going boating on that day, because no boating trip is worth dying for.
Looking back at old coroner's reports, it does come back down to people taking chances and people taking unnecessary risks.
It was just 2 days ago when emergency crews were called to the latest rescue incident, where a 76-year-old sailor was caught in rough weather off the state's west coast. But no matter your choice of watercraft, the rules remain the same.
Just making the right choices, making sure your boat is up to it, or if you're paddling, making sure that your ability is up to it. Just sort of being sensible and not taking any unnecessary risks.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's performing arts sector is preparing to breathe life into the industry next year following 18 months of COVID-induced restrictions. Key leaders gathering at one of the state's most revered performing spaces to share ideas, work together and plan for the future.
An industry relying on people recovering from a tough period. Spaces like Hobart's Theatre Royale all fell silent at one stage or another over the past 18 months as the pandemic damaged the performing arts scene.
The last 2 years have been absolutely deeply impactful on the performing arts.
The arts industry was the first to shut down and the last to come back.
But with a new year almost upon us, the sector is looking to the future. 35 organisations coming together today to spark creatives back into life.
How can we seek vibrancy? How can we reach audiences? The value of coming together to talk about those things is really high.
Working within COVID restrictions on the table, with people urged to think differently. Upcoming performances and festivals also outlined.
A lot of the artists and producers in the room today have some really exciting projects going into next year.
Collaboration between events and groups, another key topic.
Everybody works for everybody else, so it's really lovely to come together and have that collaborative spirit.
And with technology making the whole world a stage, using it to share Tasmania's stories was also on the agenda.
That people are embracing publishing online, they're embracing live streaming, they're sort of investigating new ways for technology to come into regions.
Getting large crowds back, however, the ultimate goal.
Buy your theatre tickets, get out, see some work.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Kingborough Council has recognised the growth of its environmental fund. The Tasmanian First scheme sees developers pay into a fund which is used to offset the loss of native bushland. The council today showcasing a covenant near Margate, helping protect some of the state's most endangered birds.
Protecting blue gum forest, which is habitat for the critically endangered swift parrot, and also habitat for the 40-spotted pardalote.
I feel incredibly proud that my local council is doing that instead of just using funds on more development.
To date, more than 240 hectares of native bushland has been protected. Penguins Motocross Park has hosted the inaugural Build Right 2-Stroke Cup with a full day of two-wheel action. In the main race, Railton's Jonty Reinders took off at the gun and wasn't seen again by the chasing pack. Reinders also clocked fastest lap as he led from start to finish to take the win.
Good evening. 24 in Hobart today. Launceston reached 22, Burnie 18 and Devonport 20. Strawn's 25 was the warmest, population centre at least. Grove and Campania 24, King Island and Ooze 23. Friendly Beaches 22 today, St Helens 18, Lowhead 17, Lyawini a high of just 11. Mid to low cloud sits across our northwest and developed over the north during the afternoon. Plenty of cloud over the mainland, mid to low level cloud over eastern Victoria and along the New South Wales coast. More over inland New South Wales with thunderstorms. More storm clouds over the Territory and southern Queensland. Tomorrow, a high south of WA extends a ridge over central Australia. A cold front moves past us and over the Tasman Sea, several troughs over the mainland. The fairly strong northwesterly winds will turn west-southwesterly as the front moves through. There will be late morning at 15 to 25 knots, swells picking up to 3 metres in southern waters. Strong wind warning from and including Flinders Island down to Low Rocky Point. Hobart 17 and a shower or two. Adventure Bay 16, 12 the top for Tarraleah with a shower or two as well. Launceston, the chance of a shower, 21 the high, 18 for Devonport, showers for Bridport and 20 degrees. Burnie, a possible morning shower, 17 the top, 15 the high for Strawn. Marrawar, partly cloudy and 15 degrees. 21 for St Helens and a few showers. Swansea 20 and 19 for Whitemark on Flinders. UV in the very high range at 9 and 10 across the state. Partly cloudy conditions on Wednesday, maybe a shower over the north in the evening. Mainly fine on Thursday apart from showers over the southwest. And on Friday, showers over the east and south, mainly fine elsewhere. A sunny 37 in Perth, partly cloudy for Adelaide, showers easing in Melbourne, but continuing over Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Storms on the way for Alice Springs and Darwin. Cloudy at the moment, 21 in Hobart, 18 right now in Launceston, Devonport, currently 17 degrees. Get over the showers tomorrow, Kim. No more rain for the rest of the week until Friday along the east coast.
I like the sound of that. Thanks very much, Murph. And that is all your news for now. Thanks for your company. On behalf of the entire team, good night.